Hey, I have a question for you. Do you compost your dryer lint or all the stuff that's in your vacuum bags? I didn't realize that there is so much of a controversy on it, but it appears that there's a big debate on whether or not you should compost your dryer lint. I mean, most places will say sure, but it's funny to think about what's actually in there. I mean, if you look at the stuff, it's pretty dusty because there's obviously plenty of that in there, and there's hair, and there's also going to be uh, synthetic fibers as well as organic ones. I mean, I don't have all cotton clothes by any means. I definitely have some synthetics. So I guess the question remains is, do I put this stuff in my compost or not? I mean, it's such a small amount, but at the same time, it would be the equivalent of putting synthetics in your compost. So what is that worth to you? And that seems to be the question that everybody is hung up on. For example, if you take something like nylon, where if you burn the stuff, it's really toxic. But if you would put that in your compost, it's funny that it's actually resistant to insects and mold and fungi, and those are kind of what they market it on. And those are all things that are necessary in composting. But at the same time, it's not much. That's the thing, like this is such a small quantity. And then, of course I would say avoid the landfill, but I mean, if I squish this down, how much is this? So I'm really hung up on this personally. This has been driving me nuts for the last couple days. And one of my favorite slogans was taught to me by one of my teachers in high school who always said, "Every litter bit counts." And I do go with that because, I mean, I'm pretty obsessive about how much I try and keep stuff out of the trash. So thank you, Mr. Backenstoss. I appreciate that. But let's talk about alternatives. As far as this goes, I didn't know that there was a huge following of making lint into art. There's like lint mache and paper making, all different kinds of stuff to do with your dryer lint. So maybe check those out too, because then instead of putting it in the anaerobic hell known as a landfill, you can keep it on your wall permanently so it's frozen in time there instead. And it's your own art, so that seems pretty cool to me. I also remember in Boy Scouts, we used to take this and stuff it into toilet paper tubes, and then you would use that as your fire starter. So that's that. I'm not even sure I can give you a definite answer, but I would love to hear your personal perspectives on dryer lint, and if you're composting it or if you're kind of against it. And as I've said many times, I'm not a gardener, so I don't think I'll be really using it too much for growing plants and stuff, so maybe it's not as much of a concern to me. Although I do want to try and grow more basil and tomatoes, so I can't decide. Moving on, I've had enough about that one. Vacuum bags. Ugh. When I pulled this thing out, it actually ripped, so I'm just going to keep ripping it so you can get a better look inside. And I'm sure you already know what this looks like, but it's all basically dust, dirt, maybe human hair, pet hair, dander. And overall, I don't clean my carpets. I only have a couple rugs. I have wood floors, which I actually am really into. So I'm not worried about cleaning chemicals and stuff like that. So this, for me personally, this is definitely going in my compost. I mean, this stuff is pretty cool. This is the first time I've ever changed out a vacuum bag, too. But I only vacuum my rugs once in a great while, and I haven't really thought about doing it until recently realized how inefficient my vacuum was, and so decided to look into it. But I guess the real question is I'm going to hit up Hoover and ask him what this bag is made of. It looks to be just paper to me, but I want to see what it's all about. Because if it's just paper, of course I can shred this up and put it in there too. So this would be a full solution here. But anyway, back to the hair and I guess pet hair and crap like that. If you're going to put it in your compost, I recommend getting it wet first. And also add it in small amounts throughout. Because if you put it all on one spot, it's just going to be a big annoying clump, and it's probably not going to break down nearly as fast. Although you should perceive this stuff as like a really slow release nitrogen or fertilizer to your overall compost project. So I think I'm definitely going to add the vacuum bag for sure. But I'm not sure about the dryer lint, as I said, so I would love to hear what you have to say about that. So I guess that's about it, really. I'm going to keep thinking about it, and I would love to hear your personal perceptions on it. So please hit the like button below, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Keep it dirty, and have fun composting. If you have any questions, please get in touch. I love this stuff. All right, take care.